Okay, thank you for this opportunity. We would like to just, to talk about AI in specific of is it a threat or the opportunity. We would like to just go ahead and then discuss, the talk about, what is AI, what AI brings to us, and is there something we have to change based on to adopt, the AI. And then at the end, we will just, introduce one of the master's program. It's just opened at Kennesaw State University. I'd like to just introduce that one. That might be kind of an, the good change for some of the, the folks. They're looking for the, the AI background. So as a starting, I'd like to just introduce myself and my colleague, Dr. Aygun. My name is Mahmut Karakaya. I'm an assistant professor at Kennesaw State University, and I'm the program director for Master in Artificial Intelligence program. And Dr. Aygun also, he is at the Kennesaw State University. He's an associate professor over there. So let me just start with kind of, the warm-up thing. So what do you think? What is this? Any ideas? If you have coming from the medical background, yeah, you can just get an idea. But feel free. You can just talk about what is this thing.
This looks like an eye.
It's inside the eye. Yes, it is the retina. So one of my the research topics. So that I would like to start with this one for the the lecture. So it's kind of an maybe the academic the talk you can just feel. But yes, this is the the retina image. Do you think this is a normal retina? Is there any abnormality on this one? So is this patient is healthy or not? Let me ask you that.
Should we unmute the microphone and speak, or just type in the chat?
Just talk. I mean, yeah, just talk. Do you think this is healthy person or unhealthy?
It looks like an unhealthy because the vein is thicker than usual. I just see like that.
Just guess, right? I mean, so nothing coming from medical background, just guessing at that one. So since we didn't learn about this, okay, it's hard to say, is it healthy or unhealthy? Okay, let me do this. Let me just go ahead and then show you several healthy and unhealthy image, and I will go ahead and then train you, okay? So this is kind of a machine learning topic. So this is the good and healthy retina. Okay, I'm not telling anything. I'll just say the labels, okay? And then I'll let you learn about it, because in the next slide, I will ask the same question again, okay? And this is the, the unhealthy one. This is the bad ones, okay? So you can just, to get some, the information out of that. Another example for the good one. And then another example for the good one. And then another example for the good one. This is the bad one. This is another bad one. And this is another bad one, okay? So right now you have seen for good, the for healthy, for unhealthy, the image. Maybe you never, you get any training from this ones. But right now, by looking that, you will extract some features, right? Some informations. You will say, okay, good ones looks like that, and bad one looks like that, okay? Then in the next slide, I will show you two images, and I will ask you about using the thumbs up, so you can just give me the feedback, okay? Did you get the training?
Yes.
Yep. Okay, nice. All right, next one. So I hope I trained you, okay? And then I'll go ahead and then show you this. Is it healthy, good, or is it unhealthy or bad one? Could you just use the thumbs up so I can see how many?
Unhealthy. I mean, what is that?
Thumbs up is healthy, thumbs down is unhealthy. Okay, we have one unhealthy one healthy one. Okay, two unhealthy right now. I can count. Okay, it looks like, yeah, it looks like unhealthy. All right. And how about this one? The next one on the right. Is it healthy or unhealthy?
Healthy.
So it looks like this is, yeah, you just get, the correct decisions. Okay. So this one is the bad one, unhealthy one. This is the good one. So for the training, I show you only the images and give you the label. Okay. I never say anything about what it looks like, but your brain go ahead and extracted some features. Okay. Let me ask you this. This is kind of, the machine learning problem, right? So you just go ahead and then learn about that. And let me ask you, why, any of you can say that, why this is unhealthy, this is bad one.
Are you
Because you said it is unhealthy.
No, but you just decided, right, which one is which one, so after I just show it to you.
Yeah. I thought the color is also giving me some hint. And also the veins seem more solid on the healthy ones. Like the veins in the other one are like less branches, maybe less thick. The main vein is less thick. This coloring also like the surface is more let's say damaged. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's a good one. Yes, you mean this guys, right?
Yes, those kind of greasy part.
Yeah. So these
And
are the blood vessels. They just, the bleed. Okay, so those are what you are seeing is, kind of a blood is just get out of the veins. And if it is go ahead and then covers this area, if it is our, the phobia, if it is covers that area, then you cannot, the see well. That is, the thing. But you never get any medical, the training, but just showing the images and then your brain extracted some information. Some information may not be correct. Some of them is good, but at the end, you just get an idea. Yeah, if I see this type of, structures, then I'll say that one is the bad one. This is what we do in the machine learning. Okay. So I just go ahead and then give several thousands, 10,000, sometimes 100,000 images, okay, to just telling, okay, this is cat, this is dog, this is healthy, this is unhealthy, or there's an, the data set ImageNet, they have millions of images for 1,000 different objects, okay, just from keyboards to something else. So whenever you show an image, if it is one of those classes, it tells you. So this is the machine learning. I mean, the key is you have to feed, the thousands of images to train the model. After you train the model, then it just, tell you what is that. So as a next slide, I would like to jump into, the two aspects of the AI. One of them is the machine learning, okay? And the other is the natural language processing. Dr. Aigen, could you just, go ahead, talk about this one?
Yeah. Thank you, Dr. Karakaya. Yeah, machine learning is a subfield of artificial intelligence. It's maybe AI, if you go back to history, it is an area, this is almost 80 years old area. Machine learning, the basic difference from AI and machine learning is it uses data sets. And typically, and in today's, especially in one field called supervised learning, we need to label the data sets. So we need to have some idea, like Dr. Kargay showed, whether an image, a retina image, is a bad or good one. So that was the basic, difference from AI, traditional AI, and the machine learning. So what happened in the last, just 10, 15 years, especially for the last 20, 30 years, if you go back a little bit further, the data sets were easily collected. So we didn't have that opportunity maybe 30, 40 years ago. Every data must be entered manually. But nowadays, you have online social networks. Everyone is entering some type of message. So the profiles of people are uploaded to those online social networks. So the data is readily available. And we have lots of sensors that are collecting data. So we could have, temperature sensor, carbon dioxide, carbon monoxide sensors, or we could have, satellite sensors. So these are already collecting some information. And with this availability of data sets, and then the significant improvements on the hardware in the last, 15, 20 years, especially with GPUs, there has been a significant improvement on image recognition, speech recognition, recommendation systems, analytics, and autonomous vehicles. So this is the general machine learning. So natural language processing is again a subfield or related to machine learning as well. The basic difference between natural language processing is it processes text. So in the past, there were already some text processing systems. So for example, what is the noun of a sentence? What is the verb? So what does this person mean? So those type of studies were already made maybe 15, 20 years ago. But starting 2017, there was a big breakthrough on machine learning. So there was something called transformer-based models were developed. The benefit of these models is it could leverage GPU-based systems. And then we could train very complex systems. So that was a very big, significant, I think, transition in NLP and machine learning together. And with that, so this type of systems could be used for as virtual assistants, machine translation services, sentiment analysis, and automatic content generation systems. Next slide, Dr. Karakaya.
Yeah.
And why do we hear a little bit more on this type of systems? Because we heard about ChatGPT, and in the past, although we had 8 years of AI experience, mostly these AI-based systems were used by academicians, commercial companies, etc. But what ChatGPT has done is it was available to the public. So it had a very significant impact on awareness of AI-based systems, and that's the biggest thing. And what we heard first is it could write stories, and it was very amazing. It is based on something called transformer. So I already mentioned about that. So it has two parts. GPT is the core part. You can call it as the brain part of the ChatGPT. What it does is it basically process lots of text from the history, Wikipedia, lots of websites, historical texts, novels, so whatever we have. So it processes all those information. And the way that I put it is it learned the grammar, how people are using words next to each other, etc. And then it had a general understanding of how sentences are written. The ChatGPT part is they taught how to interact with people. So those two combinations made the ChatGPT. So there's an interaction part coming in this version. So since there's an interaction part, now this could be used as chatbots. They could be used as a customer support. They could be used for content generation, personal assistance, and language translation. So it could be used for many type of purposes. And nowadays, the GPT version, they're also processing images as well. So that is also being used nowadays. Next slide.
Okay, the next one is mine. So I got a task. Okay, so somebody asked me, can you go ahead and then give a presentation about AI and the it's supposed to be in that the format. I said, oops, Google, go ahead and then prepare a presentation. So what do you think what I have done? Go to the ChatGPT. Okay, so I just go to ChatGPT and I just write this. I need to make a presentation, and then this is my title. I just give it the title, nothing else. Okay, so I just give it to and then this is what it happens. It's just, go ahead and then hit the solutions, and it says, okay, you have to just mention about the potential threat, and then, the challenges, and then you have to just end it up. And then I said, let me just make more specific. Okay, in that more specific, I said, okay, I'm planning to discuss about the job. So I just added a few words. And then look at here, how it just, the changing the whole structure. So, I mean, this is really amazing. I mean, you can just go ahead and then, prepare the slide, whatever, really, the fast. So that is the one of the thing. I mean, we have to just, to go ahead and then use it. So since it is over there, right? I mean, that source is over there, and we have to just go ahead and then use it. So that is kind of, the benefit from, the ChatGPT or whatever those, the AI tools. It really helps a lot, but you have to know, the correct questions, and then you have to just give the feedback. So could you just go ahead and then explain this one more, this one less? So that's what I have done. The rest of the, the slides, I just collaborated with the ChatGPT. I just asked, some additional questions. Could you just, go ahead and then explain something about that one to me? And then it just did it. And let's see how it looks like. Okay, Dr. Eichmann?
Well, let's talk about some potential risks or threats. So my general research area is trustworthy machine learning. So we are already, as my research, I am studying to see whether these systems pose risks, or in other words, what makes us to trust in this system. So we are working on those. So we are trying to see what type of issues that may come with these AI-based systems. So one of them, there are some examples available because there is a big benefit of this one. For example, we all apply for jobs, right? So there's a part of our there is one step in our life, and then but for the company. Some of the data, the number of CVs that are coming into for a single position is thousands of CVs. Okay, so how do you distinguish a good CV from a bad CV, or how do you know based on the CV this person can be successful in your company or not? So this is an important problem. So normally in the past, maybe when there are few applicants, so usually the human resources, or there could be some hiring team, they could go over the CVs and they could make a decision or not. But I'm going to give one example. I believe Amazon has tried this for their job hiring process. So, we need to come up with good examples, right? So we need to label the data. So for Amazon, the labeling is based on the people who work at Amazon are good employees, basically. So they have that information. And if someone is fired due to their performance, so we know that that person is not a good fit for the company. And some of them are already eliminated for the position, right? So they didn't even interview, so they know that this is a good fit. So they already had this information. Eventually, what this led is for the Amazon, became a problem later on. The company started to hire only male applicants because the majority of the employees at Amazon was mostly male employees, and then it's just eliminating female ones automatically. So this was an issue. So there was a shortcut, right? So what you could do is, if these systems learn CVs as an example, what you could do is you could remove sex information, okay? And then we could get it. But normally people don't put sex into the CVs. So what you could do, you could remove names from the CVs, because names typically they are correlated with the gender, right? So still it didn't work because of the hobbies, okay? For example, if someone is more interested in playing baseball, that person is more likely to be a male. And then if another person is more likely to play softball, then that person is a little bit more likely to be a female. So the system tried to eliminate softball players versus, or softball hobby versus baseball hobby. So it didn't work easily. So eventually Amazon gave up on that one. But there is this process that are available. So another part is, so I am talking about the risk, privacy issue. The privacy is, whenever you provide some information into ChatGPT or anything else, even for online social networks, your profile is part of the learning process. So the systems learn a lot about yourself. For example, there's one example, the Cambridge Analytica scandal. So based on your information, they know whether you are likely to vote or not, or the system can influence you. Your neighbor today went for voting, and who that person is. So their party could win the election, as an example. Then you might be motivated to go as well. So they try to motivate you. So, and based on the information that you provide or you post on Twitter, LinkedIn, etc. So any information can be obtained, and then they can, direct you, guide you for doing things like that. Another issue is biases. So there's a historical text. So the people 100 years ago, because there were some texts that are coming from hundreds of years ago, the general demographics are a little bit different. For example, if you ask the system about, let's say, the gender of nurses or doctors, the system will say that doctors are more likely to be male, and then nurses are more likely to be female. And those things are also learned by these AI-based systems. So, or based on the people who are sentenced by the court. So if they are more likely to be, Black or African American, then the system may think that Black or African American people are more likely to commit crimes based on the information it has. And there are also some risks in the autonomous weapons and surveillance systems, etc. But for us, even we do not think of any of these issues, one of the major things is these are very powerful systems. So they could automate lots of the tasks, and it may have significant impact in job loss, especially in manufacturing, transportation, and other customer support services, as an example. Next slide, Dr. Karakhaya. And manufacturing sector, robotics and advanced manufacturing, replacing labor in tasks such as assembly, packaging, and quality control. It is coming up. So still, we see examples, of those manufacturing, even for them identifying defects in the product. So it can be done with high precision, high efficiency, and it could be run 24/7 without any interruption. Transportation, we already see that there are these autonomous driving systems that are coming up. Tesla is working with this semi trucks, which has autonomous driving option. So you could go with one place, because even the problem is finding hiring truck drivers is a challenge, because it's a very labor intensive work. So there are not many truck drivers available. So that is some place that is going to have a huge impact. And nowadays, I think we see this. I think we are already exposed. Customer service sector, right? So whenever you go into a website, if you want to buy a product, there is a chat symbol appearing at the bottom right. Do you want to talk to a chat agent for your issues? So usually, or whenever you go to your bank account, usually there's a chat assistant or chat bot available running. So could we help you on your problem? So what is it you are facing? And I think with respect to, I think several years ago, I think there's an improvement. And I think maybe 3 or 4 years ago, I was saying that please take me to the representative. I don't need to hear your answers. Please take me to the representative. I was repeating several times. So but nowadays, I think they could provide good answers on those ones. And even in this customer service, there are some issues with chatbots. So we realized that, for example, we have accent, right? So, but when you type, we don't have the accent. But depending on your background, the words that you choose could be a challenge. Depending on your economic situation, I think sometimes the people are using shortcuts of the words, acronyms, etc. So the system should provide good answer for everyone. So these are some issues with customer service, but these are solvable problems. So chatbots are available 24/7, and there are some I would say recurrent tasks easily, even, we know that for about 15, 20 years, if you need to know about your balance, you can just call and then there will be automated message coming for you if you want to learn about balance. But now these provide information about your account directly by analyzing the information. Other sectors that will be affected will be retail, finance, healthcare, agriculture. So we are seeing robots are getting into these environments. Cashierless checkout systems. Amazon has tried, I think I forget, Amazon Go, maybe it's a shopping grocery store where there are no cashiers. In healthcare, AI-powered diagnostic tools and medical imaging technologies would be very impactful, especially for rural areas where a good access to a facility, clinic, or a doctor may not be accessible, then you just need to rely on AI-powered diagnostic tools. Nowadays, people just go and watch YouTube, or they search on Google, etc. I have this problem. Who has this problem? So these are the issues that I am facing. So they try to diagnose by themselves. But now with AI-powered diagnostic tools, they could play a little bit more role in the coming years. Next slide, Dr. Karakaya. And I think for us, coding and programming, I'm going to give you one example. I am writing a paper, and I explain an algorithm. So I just copied my paragraph, explain my algorithm. So this is the way the algorithm works. And then the last part of the paragraph was ending with, for example. I forgot to cut that off. So I asked the ChatGPT to rewrite my paragraph, to write it in a better way. And then it rewrote my paragraph. It was better. And it continued with, for example, and it almost generated a proper example that I had. So it could understand what you want to do, and then it could generate the output. So nowadays, you could also say that, okay, I need to develop some, let's say, code for a specific purpose. For example, let's say I need to optimize queuing in job submissions or in ticket-based systems. So could you write some Python script for me or some JavaScript for me? It can come up with those scripts. Our initial observations with those is they are usually buggy. So there must be a person who goes through the code when they, if you just copy paste, usually there are some bugs, but they are also overcoming those limitations as well. And they could help in debugging software, coming up with better, especially for entry-level coders. I think not all over, because there are some algorithms we still have difficulty in, developing, those algorithms. So you need to find a really good expert that can, for example, you can limit the complexity of the algorithm. I don't want a complex algorithm. I want a simple algorithm that runs really fast. So whenever you put those constraints, I think this AI-based will be challenged. So there will be, a future that, there will some demand for human coders, but there would be some potential displacement of entry-level coding roles. And for testing and quality assurance, so we expect, similarly, AI will be good in identifying bugs, optimize test coverage, and improve software quality. So you can look at the things like that. So if you think that your daily job is similar to what you do yesterday, okay, if it's almost similar, then this is where AI is coming into the area. So for repetitive tasks, basically, AI could be very powerful, and it could reduce the time and effort required for manual testing, and it can impact roles. So rather than having 2 or 3 people, the same job can be done with one person, maybe, because this person can leverage the AI-based tool. For software engineering and development, there are different types of life cycles, but for example, this can work easily on requirement analysis. For example, document generation was very lengthy for non-native speakers, but you can say that you can ask ChatGPT, come up with a template for me for this type of test. So it's going to create all those sections for you, and it's going to have some template paragraphs for you just to fill in by you. And design optimization, code refactoring, so they could be done easily. And they can, they are going to assist software engineers in designing, building, and deploying complex systems. But number of people needed for this type of gas could go down eventually. So there's some risk involved over there. Next.
So yeah, we just discussing about those job displacement, especially in the IT sector. I think that is the main issue is like the effect of the automation. Like if we can automate whatever that job is by using the AI, then that will be the issues for them in the near future. So this slide, I just get it from McKinsey and Company's the website. So they're just, they're showing us what is the level of, the automation now and what will be the level of automation by 2030. Okay. So they said like a STEM profession. So it's kind of a 15% right now. And then in 2030, it will be 30%. So that means if you have 100 people working over there, and then 15 was already displaced, right, at this moment, but 2030, out of 100, jobs, 30 will be replaced with those, the automations. And you can see all those, the other, the sectors here. Some of them is really, the low, but they are expecting more, the improvement. And what they say is by 2030, they were just expecting around 20% automation if we don't have the this artificial intelligence things. With the artificial intelligence, the speed is just from 21%, it goes to 30%. And so it's kind of, the 9% increment, it will happen because of the AI. So this is, the one of the trend, how those, the jobs, some of them is really affecting more. And they're just showing what will be, the job opportunities in, the near future, like, what will be the growth in that, the job things. So they're just expecting it's kind of health professions or the health, the wellness or the STEM professions. They will be just definitely, there is a job growth in US. And this is kind of, the percentages they're just looking for. But look at here. Office support, customer service, they're expecting, the 18% to 13%, the decrement. So this is kind of, the area, those labor intensive but low paid, the jobs, definitely they will be eliminated. But it will slow down the, also the other, the sector. So we have to be just, be aware of those ones. So this is the, the another table, I just get them from them. So this is kind of, the occupational shifts. So they're just expecting, the decline in like food services, custom services is this amount. So overall, like almost 5 million jobs, it will be just, the shifted from 19 to 22. So like last 3 years. And then this is kind of the growth area. It just the STEM professions or the the business professions. So health sectors and other the things just growing up. But right now it's not really raising that much. Is about those the education and the task force. So this is where those all those jobs displacements go through. I think they have to just to do something for that, right? I mean, that is the thing, like AI is the thing. So what we have to do, we have to just do nothing and then say, hey, AI is the bad, we don't need to use it. It's kind of the think about the job shifting things like for the manufacturing, right? I mean, labor intensive jobs, at the beginning of the 19th the century, then we're just getting those industrial the machines, whatever's what the people does. I mean, so instead of blaming the machine, they start using the machine. So we just improving the outcome, but some of the jobs eliminated, but we just to create a new jobs. So based on that, so I think that is kind of the trend we have to be aware, and we have to just to shift the gears towards what will be the the good the opportunities for us. So that's why we would like to discuss about how can we adapt for those the challenges. So for those the challenges, I think we have to just to think about the some upskilling or the reskilling the test. So we have to just as an IT professionals, we have to adapt ourselves based on those the software development tools. So we have to just to learn about definitely using those ones. If I can go ahead and then write the code by using the ChatGPT very easily, kind of the bunch of small portion of, go ahead and then use it, get it, if your company is allowing that one. And I think one of the areas right now we have to just the upskill for ourselves is machine learning side, data science the side, because the AI just giving us the leverage. So we can just we have a bunch of data, and then by using those machine learning tools, we can just go ahead and then get the results. Because technology change, and we have to go ahead and then adapt for those ones. Like I am just, helping one of the, the companies, and then they are just working on the, the healthcare system. The 5 years ago, they never, or the, in the, so it's kind of, startup, they just come up an idea. Yeah, why don't we just use this type of images to detecting some diseases? And they just, they start building up kind of a system. And in that system, like in the machine learning, we are just naming as like transfer learning. So some models, AI models already trained by using millions of images to detecting or classifying different objects, right? And then in this case, like think about those, the retina images. I would like to just get a good one, bad one, healthy one, the unhealthy one. So if I have the data, if I have the, those labeled data, so why don't I just feed it into that model and then I just get, the new product? So it will be kind of the, the area, I think it will be just, we have to just go ahead and then get it. And as you know, in the, the IT industry, we have to always learn, continuous learning. So we never said, okay, that's enough. Let me just, to go ahead and then do the same thing. If you just repeat the task for, the few years, then later, then you might be just outdated. So we have to just go ahead and then always learning about those ones. So I think we have to start learning about how to live with the AI, especially ChatGPT. That is I think the breaking point why we are talking about this. I'm working on the machine learning area like for 10 years, but from the last year, ChatGPT just come up, everybody just talking about those ones since it touched the people's life. So I think we have to just learn how can we just adopt our knowledge into the AI, and then how can we collaborate. So I think that is the one of the parts. So if the AI is coming, so we have to be just prepare for that one. So it will definitely give us the new job opportunities. Because the AI related job openings, it's coming. Maybe you have just already seen those ones, and they're just mentioning about some skills. They're looking for data analysis, programming, or the machine learning specialists. So I think that is the the area. Every company, they have a bunch of data, but they want to just go ahead and then process data. Before the machine learning, it was too difficult task like that. The eye image, I show it to you. Before deep learning, what we do is we try to detect every those, the bleeding, the sections. We try to just segment all those blood vessels. And then we try to understand the structure. And then after detecting how many bleedings, what is the size of the bleeding? And I just said, okay, if it is more than this number, then I will say it is unhealthy, otherwise healthy. It's too, the labor intensive task. So what you have to do, like every image, you have to sit down. Now, I just showed the doctor, is this healthy, unhealthy? Doctor said healthy, unhealthy, healthy, unhealthy. So I'm just using the doctor to labeling it, and then I just feed it into the model. And then I can just, come up with an, the startup, right? So that is the idea. So it's, what we're gonna see is in the startup ecosystem, many companies just hire a few people. If they know about machine learning, they can do whatever, they have an idea. So if you get the data, and then you can go. So that is the thing. I think we have to just, prepare ourselves for that. Let me show you some, the emerging job opportunities. So these are the, the ones we can just think about it. Dr. Aigen?
I think you may go ahead, Dr. Correct.
Okay, that's fine. So yeah, these are the, some, the job opportunities that just coming through. So data science and analysis, the people definitely, they need it. Most of the, those industrial sector, they want to just, use those data they already collected, and then they would like to just come up in a solution without doing those traditional paths. So deep learning side is really easy. So like Netflix, like they just collecting all those, the data from you, right? So what they do, just instead of looking every individual people, they try to train a model, and then that model automatically just, suggesting, the content for, for everybody. or AI developers, machine learner, the engineers. So I think that will be another, the area. It's kind of, the emerging, like, the Teslas or the other, the companies. Just think about, the few years ago, we don't have those cars. Right now it's a huge company, billions of dollars. They're just, the try. Why? Because they see the trends, AI is possible to use, and then people wants to use their products. So they're just, the hiring those type of, the people. And the robotic technician or the engineers is another, the area. In the robotics, yeah, kind of, the hardware is the key. They were just, using those hardware, but still you have to, do the software and the machine learning side on those ones. So with this, the environment, so what we have to do, I think we have to just, again, we have to adapt for ourselves with those tools. Like, how can we just use AI in our daily job, the duties. So, and we have to just go ahead and then, address those, the job displacement. If those, the jobs will be affected, so what will be our move? I mean, so if they will replace me in 2 years, okay, so then I have to just do something about that. How can I just, change the pace from, the job X to job X AI, right? So it's kind of, the related, the jobs I have to just, do thinking about. So I think that kind of the education is the key for us. So if we have the, the jobs, it will be affected. I think we have to just, the change our career path. So that's why one of the, the things in the Kennesaw State, we were just, thinking about, okay, the computer science master degree. And then when I look at the curriculum, I said, hey, I mean, okay, if the student coming from the computing background, yeah, they can go ahead and then get those courses. But if they are coming non-computing background, so we are asking like 4 foundation courses. And then most of the people see 4 courses and then say, okay, I'm just dropping that. I mean, I don't want to go into that area, because after 4, you have to finish, the 10 courses. So what we have done is in the, I'll just shifting into those MSAI, the area. So we just, the develop a program. It's in the, the second program in Georgia. So it, the covers kind of an interdiscipline in the program. So it's just, the touch, the machine learning, deep learning side, NLP or computer vision. So we have kind of, the courses. We are just, putting them together in this, the program. That program, it's just, the kind of a flexible, the option. So they just give you, online or on campus. So you can just go in both ways, or you can do kind of, the thesis and the capstone. So you can just, pick any of those ones. And any undergrad, the majors can apply that. That is kind of, how we designed, the program. So no, the GRE or other, the exams required. For international students, they just, they require only the TOEFL or IELTS if they don't have the, the degree from the US. Other than that, it's kind of, that we developed for the full-time working professionals. So most of the classes is kind of, the evening class after 5. Or online is just asynchronous online, so you can just, do. So if you just, thinking about career change, I think that is kind of good opportunity for, the MSAI program. So in the program, if you are coming from non-computing background, so if you don't have the computer science or computer engineering, the degrees, so the program just asks you 2 foundation courses. One of them is the programming, the other is the data structure and then algorithms. And if you're already working in IT sector and then you have, programming backgrounds, then we can just look at your CV and then we can waive those, the programming courses very easily. So it's kind of in a justification. And if you don't ever take, the data structure and algorithm courses, then in that case, you are just taking one single foundation course. After the foundation courses, you have to complete 30 credits, which means 10 courses. Out of those 10, 4 of them is required. And then the others is kind of, based on your models, capstone or the thesis. So let me show you kind of, the curriculum about that. So the 4 courses, what we just, the the requiring is, the AI is, the number one course, and then machine learning and the, the neural networks and deep learning. So these are the kind of core courses they require. And then we have the ethics course as a fourth one. And in addition to these 4 courses, you have to take 6 more courses. For that 6 courses, you can go to with the thesis option or capstone option. So in the thesis option, what the student needs to, take is 1 research course and then 2 thesis courses. So this is kind of, thesis, the core of those ones. So additional 9 credit hours, which means 3 courses, you have to just select it from this list. Okay, so you can just go with the, the NLP or the computer vision, whatever. So you have to just, get it over there. If you want, say, okay, I don't want to write the thesis, in that cases, yeah, you can just do it, the capstone. And in the capstone, you have to just take 1 capstone course, and then you have to just get 15 credits, which means 5 courses from the list. Okay. So this is kind of, general structure of the, the curriculum. And if you want to finish like in 2 years, this is kind of how we just, design it. This is not required, but it's kind of a sample, the way you can just, get it if you are using, the capstone, the project. By the way, the Kennesaw has also the summer, the term. So they're offering all those, the courses. Many of them is on online on the summer too. So you can finish it in 4 or, the semesters. And if you just count as summer as one of the semesters, so it's kind of a less than 2 years, you can definitely finish, the program. If you are doing the thesis, this is how it looks like. So that is, you have to just get, the thesis, the course here, the research, and then elective courses forward. As an admission requirement, so you have to apply before July 1st for the full semester. And then you have to have a 2.75 GPA. And you have to have, the official transcripts. If it is international, transcript, you have to get the evaluation. But other than that, we don't have any other, the other requirements. So you can just, admit it. Somebody asked me about affordability, the perspective. This is kind of, the tuition and, the how they, charge it. So if you are just, taking in-person classes, this is, how much they just charge per credit. Or if you're just taking, the 9 credit or 3 courses per semester, you can just think about including the fees is about 3,300. And if it is fully online, then it is around, the 3,500. So, and you have to just, take the 10 courses. So you can just, looking for $12,000, and you pay as you take the courses. I mean, you don't need to pay, directly for the, the program. And so if you are just thinking about, the GTA or GRI positions, then yeah, in that cases, you don't pay any tuition or fees. In addition to that, you are just getting some stipends from that. And if you're working in a company, sometimes, the companies just having, the educational, the benefits, they can just, cover this courses cost for you. Okay, so that's kind of, the all. So I'd like to just, get your questions. I'll just go ahead and then stop recording so you can just, ask the questions.
Thank you, Mr. Karakoya.